I didn't realize how quickly YouTube could become psychological. At first, it felt productive and exciting, like I'd finally started building something for myself. But after a few uploads, I noticed something strange happening. I stopped checking YouTube because I enjoyed creating. I started checking because I needed reassurance. Every upload became a tiny emotional experiment. I'd publish the video, close the app for 5 minutes, then reopen analytics hoping something changed. 1 impression, 2 impressions, maybe a click. Most of the time, nothing happened. But somehow, that made me check even more. The strange part is how irrational it becomes. You know a video won't suddenly explode in 10 minutes, but your brain still refreshes the dashboard like you're pulling a slot machine lever in a casino, built entirely out of disappointment and false hope. I started noticing patterns in my day. Wake up, check analytics. Lunch break, check analytics. Before bed, check analytics. I wasn't even looking at meaningful numbers anymore. I was emotionally reacting to single digits like they were stock market crashes. The worst feeling wasn't low views. It was uncertainty. If a video gets no impressions, you don't know whether the content is bad, the thumbnail failed, the title failed, or YouTube simply never tested it properly in the first place. That uncertainty slowly changes the way you think. Instead of making videos naturally, you start trying to predict the algorithm. Every idea becomes filtered through fear. Would YouTube push this? Is this clickable enough? Is this title too boring, too dramatic, too late? And eventually, you stop creating videos you actually care about. You start creating experiments instead. Tiny, packaged attempts to trigger a reaction from a machine that never explains why one video gets tested and another quietly disappears into the void. One night, I realized I'd spent more time studying my analytics than actually improving my videos. That was a weird moment, because I'd convinced myself I was working hard, but most of my effort was just anxious observation disguised as productivity. The strange thing is that YouTube analytics are incredibly addictive even when your channel is tiny. Especially when your channel is tiny. Because every number feels important. One click changes your CTR dramatically. One extra view suddenly feels like momentum. I also realized that small creators rarely talk honestly about this stage. Most advice comes from people who already escaped it years ago. Their channels already have audiences, history, trust, momentum, and recommendation data built into the system. But when you're starting from absolute zero, YouTube feels completely different. You upload into silence, no comments, no community posts, no returning viewers. Just you, the dashboard, and the constant question of whether continuing even makes sense. At one point, I genuinely thought my channel was broken. Some videos would get tiny bursts of impressions, then instantly flatline. Others wouldn't move for hours. I started searching things like YouTube shadow ban and why my videos get no impressions. That rabbit hole made everything worse. Because suddenly, every creator forum was filled with people convinced the platform was secretly suppressing them. And honestly, when your analytics look dead, it's very easy to start believing that. But over time, I noticed something important. Even the videos that performed terribly still taught me something. One thumbnail got more clicks. One intro kept people watching longer. One title slowly gained search traffic days later instead of immediately. That's when I realized growth on YouTube isn't linear at all. It's messy. One video gets ignored. Another gets tested randomly. Then things go quiet again. The platform doesn't reward emotional consistency. It rewards continued iteration over time. And I think that's the hardest part psychologically. YouTube gives almost no emotional reward in the beginning. You can work for hours and receive less validation than a random tweet posted in 30 seconds. That disconnect breaks a lot of creators early. The dangerous thing is how personal it feels. If a video fails, it feels like you failed. If impressions stop, it feels like rejection. Even though logically you know the platform is mostly data systems and audience matching, emotionally it still hits hard. I'm starting to understand why so many channels disappear after a few uploads. It's not always laziness or lack of discipline. Sometimes people simply get exhausted by creating content in complete silence while constantly questioning whether any of it matters. But weirdly, I think this stage is also where real creators are formed. Because eventually you either quit entirely or you learn how to detach emotionally from short-term numbers and focus on improving the actual craft instead. I'm definitely not there yet. I still check analytics too often. I still overanalyze impressions. I still wonder whether YouTube is testing my videos properly. But I'm beginning to understand that obsession alone won't grow the channel. So for now, I'm treating this like a long experiment instead of a verdict on my ability. Maybe the channel eventually grows. Maybe it doesn't. But at least now I understand that the psychological battle is probably harder than the algorithm itself.